Hello everyone, iOS 16.1 has officially came out, so we can go and take a look at it on the iPhone XS and see if it's even worth installing. Now, this update came out to a pretty big size, but sadly enough, I didn't actually go and I wasn't able to screenshot it. But from what I understand, it was a pretty big size update, so keep that in mind. It was about 4.8 gigabytes if you're coming from 15 or if you're coming from early 16.0. But if you're coming from 16.0.3, it's going to be much smaller than that. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, 16.1 is fixing out a lot of things within iOS 16. It's also bringing in some cool features too, which I'm really happy about. The first thing being is iCloud shared photos. So now within iOS 16, we actually have the ability of utilizing a shared photo library, which is really cool. So I think we've had some features like this before, but we now have some, shared albums, but we can also go ahead and have the iCloud shared photo library, which is really, really cool. Now, another thing, which is honestly probably the biggest thing, is live activities for third, party applications. So as we probably know with iOS 16, we have the ability of basically getting live notifications. So basically a notification will come up, and instead of, having tons of notifications being populated over and over again of all the different, if we're watching a football game, essentially it'll just be one notification that looks very beautiful if the developers do it right, and it'll just update by itself. And that is a really cool thing within this, specific update. So personally, that's one thing I'm really looking forward to within this update. Now, another thing we have is mostly for the iPhone 14s, but it's essentially reachability support for the dynamic island. So now we have the ability, if you're using, reachability, for some reason it's not working now, we have the ability within our 14 Pro using that dynamic island within reachability, which I think is honestly really cool. Now, finally, we have another cool thing, and there's tons of features here, so I'm just hitting like the high surface. We have the ability essentially of utilizing a new battery charging feature, which is called clean energy charging. So if we click on battery, if we go and click on battery health and charging, you will now see this new clean energy charging option at the bottom. Now, personally, I think it's cool, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to keep it enabled, but it essentially, what it advertises is it's going to reduce our carbon footprint within this specific, from our iPhone. So I think that's cool. I don't know if, I'm going to be very curious to see how it affects battery life, battery health as well. I don't think it's going to affect battery life, but battery health as well as how fast our iPhone is charging. So I think that'd be kind of something cool to test. So I may end up looking into that a little bit further. But those are pretty much the main things. Now we're still going to take a look at battery life, stability, all those other things. But should you install this update on your iPhone XS? Well, I didn't run into any issues updating it. It's a little hot, but the main thing I would tell you is if you're already on iOS 16, I would probably just recommend going up to 16.1. That probably makes the most amount of sense in my opinion. But if you're on iOS 15, I would probably recommend still staying there. But if you end up doing that, you may never update. So I mean, kind of think about, if you want to on a XS, it's a pretty, it's not super modern, but it's not super old either. I would probably recommend updating if you want to, but if you want the more stable version of software, you may just want to stick on iOS 15. I'm still on iOS 15 on my main device, and I'm not really having too many issues. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More important than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.